All right, welcome back. Today I am doing the best of 2024, best of 2025. I'm gonna get right to it, go through it really quick. First, of course, I have product of the day. Today I have 2 games you can play pretty much for free. Now, number one thing I wanna tell you is that the most important thing to me out of everything is my relationship with my child. Okay, so that is what I focus on primarily because I think everything good, at least in our house, or at least in my mind, homeschooling wise and everything else, flows from that. So what I want is, so I'm going to give you a couple games in which they're fast, they're quick, and they're a good bonding game, if you will. So number one is to take cue cards. And on the cue cards, I cut them in half and I just wrote words down. So when I first started this, so what you're seeing on the screen are the secondary words. But the first time we did this, I used tree, truck, car. Now the thing is because I am writing the cards, I know what's on them. So I can play with a 6-year-old, I can play with a 7-year-old, I can play with an 8-year-old who maybe has neurodiverse issues. But so he picks up the card and he doesn't show me what it is, but I know the variety of cards because I've written them. So I have a better chance of guessing what it is. And then he draws it and then I guess. So as a team, oh, if we get it, then yay, we got a point. And then it's my turn. And then I pick a card and I draw it. And the advantage is in my court because, well, I've been drawing longer. And so I try to get him to guess it and so on. And then it's his turn. So it's a very quick, fun bonding game. It also helps his reading that I really like. Another quick game you can do for math is to take these same cue cards, but label them 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. But then every card you pick up, so they start at one side of the room and you pick up a card and you're like, okay, it's 2. So then 2 plus 1. Add 1 to every card you pick up. 3 plus 1. And then they got to go from there. Just to help with a little bit of recall, I'm going to do this again this week just to go over subtraction because I noticed their addition is pretty strong. They got a strong enough addition game, but their subtraction needs some work. So that's what we're going to do. So now, as you know, I bought pretty much every single curriculum I could purchase. I did for history just purchase Layers of Learning yesterday. I just wanted to try, it was only $5.99 to try the Ancient History China. So that's what I thought I would do. I had previously purchased stuff on Etsy for it and I just didn't like, it was okay. It was okay, but I wanted to try something else. So that's what I purchased. So for history, I don't exactly have a lot. The jury is out on history because I have a lot of awesome history, but I still have to go through it all. But let's start with I'll start with best math of the year. So best math for me, even though we don't use it right now, we use something different, which I talked about yesterday, is Math with Confidence. It's the best because of its price point. It's $50 per year, $18 for additional book for additional students. But the materials is not that expensive. There's a lot of printables you can print off in the book. And she tells you the cheapest materials that you can use. So beans for counting and things like that. So I really appreciate the thought and the time that she put in. The woman who created, she has dual degrees in Harvard, one in mathematics, I believe, and one in education. I believe she has a PhD in education. And it also wins because, first of all, it's 15-minute lessons that you are purely bonding and playing with your kid. And then there's a short worksheet for them to do. So the worksheets is not the lesson. What you do with them for that 15 minutes, that's the lesson. So it's a game, it's that you're buying something or you've set up a store with their stuffed animals. So it's very simple, very easy to go to. Now, it also wins because it is, not only is it spiral math, it's also mastery. So it's the only curriculum that I've really seen it purposely done together in, although Math Mammoth that does mastery tells you how to do it spiral as well. She has a lot of advice on how to do it spiral. So that I'm not saying other maths are not great. It's tough because when I like a curriculum, it doesn't mean I don't like other curriculums. So sometimes I have runners up as well. And I have weird things that I've listed on here, like best game, best cooperative game, and things like that. So let's go through. So best little kid Christian Science. Do I have it here? I do. This is Discovering God's World. It's from Rebecca. I don't know if it comes with a teacher's manual or not. I never bought it. The teacher's manual, I just bought this. And you do not, 100% don't need a teacher's manual. So this is level 1, but you can use it with preschool kids. It teaches you about your body and how God made you. Like, so for example, you have eyelids to protect your eyes and things like that. So, and it talks about the animals and insects and different things along those lines, which insects are animals. Sadly, I did not know that. I don't know what I thought, but I didn't know that. It's amazing the amount of stuff I learned going through school the second time. Like, I don't know if I just slept through it the first time, didn't pay attention, or and maybe you just learn so much that only certain things stick out. So that to me is the best because it's just simple, it's Christian, and my favorite secular one is the Blossom and Root for little kids. It's a great curriculum. Okay, so a completely child-led curriculum. I don't know if you call it Charlotte Mason or not, because Charlotte Mason is somewhat, you know what I mean, child-led. But it is fun schooling. It is the fun schooling. I got it from the library. I actually have it. I had it on my computer, but then I deleted every single book and everything that I had on that saved. So yesterday I started showing you, but what it starts off with is basically, so it covers a variety of topics through here, but I'm telling you, this is purely child-led. Like, you go to the library, draw 8 things you want to learn about, and then another page like, okay, go to the library and choose 8 books to use as school books. So it guides you, but it's child-led. Child-led. So create your own crafting recipe. And fun schooling, it's not only is it written for the dyslexic child, it's also, they have them in a variety of different interests. So whatever, I'm telling, pretty much whatever interest are they interested in space? Are they interested in unicorns? Whatever they're interested in, fun schooling pretty much has a book on it. So I think fun schooling is definitely up there. Okay, best readers, year after year after year, the best readers are Abeka. Now, so look at how they do it. So the kindergarten doesn't have any. There's none for the kindergarten level, and they're a sad state of affair if you ever do see any kindergarten ones, so don't get excited and don't get them from Abeka. But 1, A, B, and C, and they go all the way up to, I think, 1F, and then they move on to 2, right? So 1 is like level 1. So A, B, and C. So this is C. So C is not as interesting. So here they are. Those are the first grade. So that's that one, stepping stones. These are the second, third. So it gets interesting when you get down here. These first ones, the kids are still learning to read, so they're not as interesting. And these are the traits and the characters in each story. Every book does come with a teacher's manual. I don't think you need it. I know this because I bought teacher's manuals for Aesop Fables in here, and I just don't think you need it. So this is funny because its words to watch for is 4, and I read this whole story today, and I was like, where's the word for? Like, oh, 4T. Okay, right there. But anyway, so they have in quite a few of the books, they have, okay, you're going to learn new words and then start reading. So this is C. See, it doesn't teach you to read. It just kind of enhances your reading and helps you read. So they're not that interesting in the beginning, and they are filled with Christian things like trust in the Lord and children that pray to God for help and things when they're worried and things like that. So if that doesn't interest you, you do not want to spend money on Abeka books. Now, this book, 126 pages, it's $14. So usually 14 to 20 bucks, all of their books, but it's $120. Now, there's an Aesop's Fables in here that is really good, but a bunch of curriculums have Aesop Fables. I believe he was a Greek slave, and he came up with all these, I don't know, important sayings, interesting sayings, like try to please everyone else and you'll end up pleasing no one, or something like that. So, but my winner for Aesop's Fables is the Reading and Comprehension Aesop Fables by Bonnie Rose Hudson. I love her curriculum. I freaking love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. She does, like, I've mostly bought the grade 1, but she does anywhere from kindergarten up to grade 4. Science, math, I mean, all of it. And it's so, I want to say perfectly aged. I read way too much curriculum that if it's family style, I understand. And there's some very cool family style ones that I've seen, but too much curriculum that is not age appropriate. And this is age appropriate. Grade 1, this is what your grade 1 child could be doing. Another winner for curriculum, for thinking of something that was not thought of before, that I have never seen any other curriculum that I think is brilliant, is that, so it is moving beyond the page, does the curriculum so between 5 and 7, ages 5 to 7, and then the next level up would be 6 to 8. Kind of like that, something along those lines. Now, what's super interesting, and that I think they deserve an award for, is that between 5 to 7, also I don't know what award I would give them, except common sense, and why didn't anyone else think of this, is that they have 2 options for their worksheets. 2 options. So the first option is if your child knows how to handwrite, anywhere between ages 5 to 7, and the second one is if they don't. For a lot of their work. And I think that is brilliant. I do most of the handwriting for my children at this point. They can do math and things like that, and they could do, you know, a few words here and there, but mostly I do it. And so I think that is brilliant that they did that. That is moving beyond the page. That is a secular curriculum that is slightly pricey, if you will, but still a very good curriculum. It's interestingly, as someone pointed out, it's called Moving Beyond the Page, but it's very much worksheet oriented. However, they do have a ton of books and they do have a ton of activities that go along with it. I would also give them an award for, you know, a materials box when you pay extra and you get a materials box. Their materials box is the most ordered material box I've ever seen. If I could give an award for the worst material box I've ever seen, it would be Sunlight's. Sunlight, they've literally just tossed everything in and you're like, open this up and it's this overwhelming mess and you're like, what? But that's just my opinion. We know that. And some people love Sunlight, love it, whatever. However, and Bookshark's the same, right? It's the same company, one Christian, one secular. And they use the same material box because they use the same science curriculum. So that's the science curriculum I'm speaking of. But this is an all-year curriculum that the material box is for, and every week is labeled. Everything is labeled and then labeled again and labeled. So there's no question as to what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to use. I also have it noted that I'd like it noted that I didn't do a ton of their, if you're on the Moving Beyond the Page and you're like, hey, I'm torn between the 5 to 7 or the 6 to 8, go 6 to 8. Go 6 to 8 because 5 to 7, it's pretty young. It's a little too young, some parts of it. And so I found that we skipped through a lot of it. But I didn't do a lot of the experiments either. I read the books and then we just looked at the worksheets, did the worksheets very fast, and some of them are so fun, so fun. So for fun worksheets, I would, there, another award, fun worksheets. All right, finally, we were into games. I love games. I have loved games. I have to play 2 different types of games with 2 different types of children. One child I can play any game with. One, it's usually a competition, and the other one we're on the same team. So the best math game is, I believe it's called Moby Math, where you have those tiles. And so you each have tiles. I think one's green and one's blue. I have to go pull it out again. And what it is it's whoever you have to use all your numbers and to make equations with them and make them all connect. And then whoever does that first wins. So I just think that's so fun. The next is cooperative play did I bring it in here? I didn't bring it in here, is my first Castle Panic. So there's a Castle Panic for older kids that's, again, it's a team, it's a strategy thing where you're trying to keep the monsters out of the castle. I haven't played that one yet, but I want to play it. And so first I thought, well, because my one son wants to play Dungeons and Dragons. We're not there yet. I don't know the first Dungeons and Dragons, like a kid one. I've tried to look into it, but I thought, but this is like my Castle Panic. It's kind of, you know, monsters, there's a castle. We got to keep the monsters away from the castle. Very fast game. I'm huge into fast games because I just don't have the time or don't want to spend the time to sit down and be like, hey, okay, let's sit down for 45 minutes. No, let's sit down for 10 minutes and maybe we'll play twice. But so my Castle Panic, you can all play together. Very simple. Once you like figure out there's 4 steps each thing. I just think it's a great game. Now, if you want a competitive game, check out Block Us. Block Us is pretty sweet. All you do, I'm trying to show you this. All you do is, so your first move can go anywhere. So I'll be orange, they'll be purple. My son will be purple, and can go anywhere. But after that, you have to connect by at least a corner. And then it's whoever gets the most of their tiles on wins. That's it. So there's actually quite a bit of strategy involved that I didn't realize. I'm slowly realizing it the more we play. But it's a good game. I highly recommend it because, again, it's another 10, 15-minute game that you pull out and you can do. That was my goal for this year. Every year, I set a new goal of what I want to do in my homeschool. I got it from the Waldock way because she does that, and I was like, that's a great idea. And so this year, I want to play more board games. So that's what we do. That's what we do. Anyway, so those are some of the best of the best of the best that I loved. I also want to start showing you during the day, during the mornings, is what I buy in Etsy stores, because you can see some really cool stuff there. And I just like seeing what people buy in Etsy stores. And I know I would like to see, hey, what did you buy on Etsy, like study units and things like that? And I'd like to see them. So I thought, well, I bought so many. Why don't I start showing those as well? All right. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them in the comment box. I would love to read them. I read every one. Some of them aren't so nice, but most of them are pretty nice and I appreciate it. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Please like to subscribe.
Yes.
And hit the bell for notifications.